What's up? This is On the Scene with Carissa Des.
I'm Pretty Fucking Leon.
And we are here with our special guest.
Bocha.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we're here at the Thesis at Lollipop Shop in Portland, Oregon.
And we're in the dungeon right now.
June Thesis in the dungeon.
In the fucking dungeon. It's hot as hell down here. You can't tell. We look good. We chilling.
Always,
Bocha, how you doing, man? How you living?
I'm well. I'm great, man.
Well,
yeah, I think I'm maintaining.
you're maintaining. You performing tonight? You doing some tracks with some folks, or are you just?
He can't say. He can't say.
I don't know yet. I don't know yet. We're gonna have to see.
He's not
well,
here.
this isn't live, so you'll see. You'll find out.
You guys will find out.
Yes,
yeah.
We'll find out.
So, are you from Portland?
Yeah, born and raised.
Okay.
Born and raised.
How long have you been making music here for? How long have you been on the scene in Portland?
I say like 11 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
11 years.
All right. So have you done a lot of evolving since you first started as a musician? Do you feel like?
I believe so. I feel like I'm finally at the point where I was trying to get when I started.
Oh, word. That's
okay.
You know,
Yeah,
like
that always feels good.
like when you start, you're like, I want to make this type of music, but you're starting, so you don't know how
to get
you don't even know how to like record. You don't none of that, and I feel like I'm finally there, so I'm like super comfortable.
What does that?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
It's always a good
for you?
feeling.
What is the what elements of this this dream that you had when you first started? Like, what specifically has kind of told you that you're there?
Like, what was it that you pictured? Yeah.
Yeah. I struggled with I guess like building a topic around a song and like really being able to just verbalize how I felt in like certain situations and really just put it on canvas in a way that's like digestible, but also it's like straightforward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like now like my process is so like,
You got, like, algorithm
straightforward where it's just easy to come out now. Like I know exactly how to approach whatever that comes to mind.
Just have like a system.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
impressive. Like that's one thing I've always struggled with as just an artist in general. Is actually like being like I feel this way. I have a concept. I have an emotion I'm trying to convey, and it's like trash.
I say I gotta give credit to my team, and I say my team as just like my actual friends that like. I'm blessed to have friends that are actual producers. I'm blessed to have friends that are actual videographers and photographers, and these are my friends.
Talking about like produce?
Yeah, produce
Yeah,
and you know what I'm saying, and adjacent.
Got the tattoo.
Yeah, produce and adjacent. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like I've been heavy hanging out with like Burn Money and Jason and Snugs and just trying to build a community in what we're doing. And I feel like just being around all these people that are individuals, it like helps when I am going a direction, and I have other people that are super creative that like understand that.
They know how to get their potential.
Exactly.
I feel like there's a lot of beauty with having a team, because it's like maybe you're here in your journey, somebody's down here with this specific aspect of the journey, but they've been up here. They got signed to a deal. They got
exactly.
And maybe they haven't done like videography or something. You know more about that. It's like everyone's at different places. It's kind of like, it's not like a line. It's like a circle. Almost.
Yeah, and they can help you to get to where you want to go if they can see. And I think that's what makes a good team if you have a vision and your team can see the vision and help you to
no crabs in a bucket shit.
Yeah, no crabs in a bucket. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel about like all the homies' albums. I feel like it's my album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'll push it just as much, and I'll put just as much effort into it. You know what I mean? Just because it's like, man, one of us make it to me, we all make it. Like,
that's the thing is, everybody will have their turn. They'll have their time. It's like, if one makes it, then everyone else will get their fucking turn.
You know what I mean? You just got to stay consistent. Yeah.
You want to. I always, like when I've been in groups, if somebody has a project coming out, you push that. You put all your weight behind that project.
Facts.
Let that do what it needs to do, and then you have enough time to like give the public some time to adjust for your project. So it's honestly beneficial, even if it's not directly promoting your projects and stuff.
Exactly.
So Produce, that's your group. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So founded by me and Dante Thomas.
And how long have y'all been? Because I've known about y'all. I've known Dante for like 15 years.
Yeah.
So I've known y'all like doing shit
for a minute,
long time.
I say like Produce got solidified in 2017. We were just writing down some ideas, and it was just like me and Dante trying to spitball a brand that like we can call what we're doing. Because at the time we had a collective of artists and people around, and just like, I don't know, we were just like, all right, we're doing something. We're making some type, you know what I'm saying? So like, we got to like call it something, right?
Yeah.
And so we were writing down names, and we finally got to Produce.
Okay.
And then, that like we'd spitball ideas on how we could just like use that as branding and all these different ideas. And so we began that. And then fast forward like a year or two later, we linked with Jordan Carter, and we made a store.
Yeah.
We were able to thrive for about 3 years. And then once we closed, you know what I'm saying, we try to transfer online and do more community things. And then, you know, me and Dante just kept going. You know, yeah.
So what's the so produce is still is it still
you said it was a store.
It was a store at a time, yeah.
Like, is it more like a collective now? Do you have like, are you going forward as produce still? Is that what you're going to be going forward as when you do things collectively?
Yeah, produce is forever. That's also like our record label. So that's what it started. Produce was for music first.
Yeah.
And then what comes with music, you want to make clothes.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah,
and then that's what became the clothes, and then the store. The store just fell in our lap. So like that wasn't even part of the plan.
Yeah, you're like, fuck it.
Yeah, and so we're like, let's just throw
sometimes
a store.
when a door opens and you see that vision, you're like, okay, that wasn't what I was planning to do.
You know,
but
I'm like, usually
it's there, so
you do that when you're already famous. You know, but I'm like, fuck it, fuck being famous. We're gonna open a store now.
No, I mean, I saw also growing up, kind of in entertainment, like alongside what y'all are doing and stuff. Like I always like, produce. Like that's just like been like a staple in my head. It's like who has come from, you know, where most of us start, you know, kids out in Portland, whatever, and then created something as like an adult collectively with other individuals and kept that and just like done it well, done it right, gotten attention, you know, tours, whatever the fuck. And, you know, kept this on. I'm like, produce. It's like no, you know, ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Produce was one of the first groups that I even knew about when I first got on the music scene. Because I was, you don't know me, but, you know, I was married housewife for 10 years. And then I stepped out and then I like got into the music. And then I got into the music scene. Everybody's like, where did you come from? You just popped out, you know?
That's what did pop out. Like,
popped out.
I know this my entire life. Man. Everywhere.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas.
I'm like at every situation.
It's like no more, not enough.
Yeah, I love that.
But yeah, produce was the first thing, like one of the first like kind of collectives or groups that I had even heard of, and I was like, what is this produce thing? Like it's a store, it's a record label, like what is it exactly?
All
so now I get to finally ask the question. So
yeah. And also on the artist side, we have like Lambo Lawson and Scooty.
Lambo,
you know what I mean? We have a few artists on here.
Yeah. Some of my favorite local artists, actually. So you guys are doing your thing.
Appreciate you.
So there's Dante the Apple. Am I
Dante
saying
the
that?
Apple.
Dante the Apple, and then the Grape. So you
Bocha
guys
the
all
Grape.
is it just you two that have like produce names, or is
it was just us that like full sent that. Like we all have our
it's like went for it.
Yeah, like we all have our own produce that we all agreed on. And originally it was for branding. Like when we all agreed, we're like, okay, let's all change our pictures on Instagram or whatever to a solid color.
Okay.
And so that's what we did originally. And
it was like primary. Just like primary color.
Yeah, like on his hands.
So, but before we even branded it, we were like, we have to brand ourselves. So we called it produce, and I chose purple. So I just made my picture purple, and then like we all chose a color. But then that was too simple because that like started a trend because it's just regular. Of course, you're gonna. It's gonna be So then locally, everybody starts doing it. They're like, no,
no.
We have to switch it up. And so we made it into fruits. And so I was like, well, it'd be nice if we chose the fruits or vegetables that we had emojis for. I already had purple, so I was like, grape.
Yeah, grape.
You know,
also, it's like what's the term? I don't know. Like I hate words, but like grape, great.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Because when I say Bocha the Grape, people are like, I know. Yeah, but that's exactly, you know. And so I'm like, that's where that came from. So me and Don and me and Dante, it's like our baby boss, you know. So it's like, of course, we're gonna full send it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you said that people were kind of copying that, like the colors.
Yeah, at a moment.
Having like a
at a moment.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it was like copying. It was just like
everyone's like, oh, this looks cool.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And we're like significant people around locally. Like we had a collective and we all did it at once and it looked
like
cool.
Colors too. So,
so you can't really claim it. You can't claim it.
Yeah.
You know, like
this is my color.
Yeah, I can't get mad. So I'm like, nah, we gotta make it more blatant.
Yeah. So how has the group evolved? You said that it used to be a store, now it's mostly online, and now you're doing mostly music. You still have your clothing brand too?
Yeah, I say now we've been just more focused on like us individually as artists because I feel like you know,
smart.
Yeah, and you know, just what we've built now, we're like, let's just bring it back to the music. And since we've done that, like, you know, my numbers, Dante's numbers, Lambo's numbers, everything's have been great. Yeah, we just kind of like try to hone in on our own artistry, and we feel like that'll benefit us in the grand scheme of things.
Client pressure.
Yeah, and as long as we're still throwing the brand out there, that's what it's about. You know,
it's kind of like when you're all in one spot and you're like, okay, scatter, you guys. And
now we got to go.
Nobody can catch up.
Yeah,
nobody can catch up to you guys because you guys are like all over here. Like you're doing great over here. Somebody's doing great over here.
I think one thing that's really important with like, especially with groups and stuff, is a lot of people are like, oh, all my homies, like we're all gonna do something, and then like shit can get really messy that way.
Facts.
And I've seen it happen. I've been in multiple groups. Shit got fucking like next level messy, and it's like y'all have been doing this shit long enough, and you're down this perfect position because you're still young, still just like there's still a lot of time, or there's always time, but it's like you have this perfect position because you're experienced, exactly what you want to do, exactly what not to do,
very intentional,
and now you're just like, we're just focusing on our music, because like a lot of people will try to do too much at once. They'll try to fucking have like branding over here, and they'll be like, I'm gonna fucking go do, like I'm gonna move to a different state and do shit over here, and I want to make money doing,
and that's how it was. Crazy. Like even running the store, we kind of spread ourselves thin.
Yeah.
Like we did a lot. We did like bi-weekly markets, or we blocked off streets, and then we threw food, so we started doing food, and then inside we had vintage, and then resale, and then we had other local brands plus our brands, and then we also just had us doing music. It was just a lot.
That's a lot of shit, man.
Yeah, that's and so tough. Once we were able to close, fortunately but unfortunately, just because Chinatown's crazy, had to close, and that just brought us back to the drawing board. Like, what are we here for? Let's move a little more intentionally and make bigger strides that way. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes it works out where you can do all these different things, but then also I think there's a time for that, and then there's a time to focus and then figure out what you're doing next.
And we figured out how to do things, so it's like we can always dabble back when it's the right time.
Sure.
Just,
You've done it before, you know how to do it again. Exactly. You said that Chinatown is crazy, so you guys had to close. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Crazy is an understatement. That place is a graveyard.
It's nuts. I'd say
I'm there a lot. I work
on
there,
our first day opening, we walked into a human shit.
Oh gosh.
At our front door.
Yes.
That was our first day. Our first day. I was like, okay, cool.
For people who don't live in Portland, that's the thing. If you haven't witnessed that, you're not a Portlander yet.
And then like just the homeless would keep breaking our windows. We had a lot of windows. They'd break our windows, but they wouldn't take anything.
It's like, at least like fucking get yours. If you're gonna break
it was just it was just a lot of
I don't think they're really
shit.
thinking it out, but
No, they're definitely not.
No, they're not. You know what I mean?
I said that's worse. Like when people break my car window, don't even try to.
Don't do anything.
At least take something.
Super annoying. Yeah, so it was just things like that we couldn't really keep up with financially. That was just super unfortunate.
Very draining.
Had to get up out of there. And we signed for 8 years. We were there. We were there. Yeah, so we're Chinatown was supposed to be built up, and a whole bunch of supposed to. So
yeah, well, you all definitely started before COVID.
Oh yeah.
So
we had a solid year. We had a solid
everything.
Almost year before COVID, so we got to see it. We got to see foot traffic downtown and all the things.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about how your group has evolved over the years.
Yeah.
How do you think music in Portland has evolved? Throughout COVID, since you first started.
You said
you've been doing.
Well,
I think it definitely has just in the past few years that I've been outside.
Yeah.
And you've been in it for 11 years. So how have you seen it evolve? Especially the hip hop scene, but music in general.
I feel like music in general here has evolved just for the fact that there's been more legitimate artists getting on.
Niggas is on now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? In different genres.
Yeah.
But I'd say as far as hip hop goes, we're not a known city for hip hop, so we aren't too known.
Working on it.
But as far as evolving in the genre that I'm in, I feel like we slowly but surely have gone to a point where there's no animosity towards each other. That's I guess that's too blatant. You know what I mean? There's just no reason to.
I guess I've noticed that within the past year.
Yeah, I feel like there's less of it. I'm not saying it's non-existent, but there's less of oh, fuck what he's doing over there. Fuck what everybody's just doing their own thing.
That was real big in Portland.
And I feel like there's enough of us working with each other in our own areas where it can work. We just have to keep applying pressure, because I don't feel like we all should be working together because we're all not going to work together well.
And nobody really, you might think you want the same thing as somebody else, but you get to that point where it's you have that thing offered, or these things offered on the table. I actually don't want to do that. I don't want to be signed to a mate. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have a residency. I don't want to, You know what I mean? You think you want the same things as everyone else, but you really don't, because you don't really talk those things out with people a lot.
Or even I say, what I have going on, because we have produce and we have ran a label and everything. And so I've been linking up with Burn Money and Jason, and he's ran his own label and has success with his artists.
Yeah.
Then hanging out with I Love McConan is just all of our brains hanging out with each other. I've just realized you don't always have to make music with somebody to work together and help each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I feel like a lot of people get confused. Like, oh, we got to work. Like, I don't want to make music with a lot of people here. No offense. I don't want to make music with a lot of people here, but I will work with you. Like, if you have an opportunity, if you want to make some money, if you want to get put on a show, like whatever you want to do, if you want to make some clothes, if you need a design, like,
collaborating,
we can all work together.
But also,
using resources, like we are all resourceful. So
right.
Like,
and I think part of it is also like you probably inspire each other as well, like with your creative ideas. Like I was just talking about when we were talking to Dior, where they like sometimes I'll just have these little like creative spurts where I'll just like call a friend and be like, give them like the rundown on 10 different ideas. Facts. So you're in the same space as all these like super creative people, these super creative people, so you can bounce ideas off of each other.
Yeah, and it's inspiring because everybody's like a standalone person and they're all like have their own ideas that they execute. And so I'm like, man, just having those people around me, that's what I'm about. I don't care what type of music you make. I might not even like the music you make, but I like the individual, and I like what you're doing. I like what you stand for. And I like the pressure you apply. So I'm like, let's get it. Let's work somehow, So so I feel like we've evolved in that way where everyone's at least willing to see what working together looks like,
That's what you'll find opportunities too, because I've grown up, playing in bands and stuff like that out here, and I kind of like recently started like producing or whatever, like in a DAW, making
putting it together.
Yeah, putting it, but like I for a while I was like, I want to do that, I want to be that, but I was like, I was managing a group at the time. I was making this. I was like, I was like, I like just connecting shit. Like I could like connecting the dots.
Perfect.
Like connecting this hi-hat with this snare. I also like connecting this artist to this venue so they can get a show last minute. And that's what I realized. I just want to be a connector.
Yeah. But see, those are positions that people don't really realize that like a DJ Khaled has done this whole time. Pause, but Diddy has done it the whole time. Like
we don't say that name on our.
You know what I mean? But it's like they're not artists specifically, but it's like they're putting together masterpieces, and they have the vision and they're putting it together. So it's like we need those positions in music still too. Not all of us can be, Drake. Not all of us can be the Kendrick and Drake. Sometimes everybody got to step down and play the role.
I don't want to, because people want to be the star. It's like, do you realize what like, you don't realize?
You know what I mean? Like, bro, what? Just the little success that I've had is just like, it's nuts. Man, I wouldn't wish it on a lot of people, man.
And it's like, actually get a lot of money with that success too.
Come on. Or when people think you got some money, it's like,
oh yeah, everybody wants to be your friend.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
So what are some other than that? Like, what are some of the positives and negatives of like coming up and getting attention that you've had?
I say the positive is I don't know. People have said that like they haven't gotten love from Portland, like a lot of artists, and I've never felt that. I've always felt love. You know what I mean? At gas stations.
You're a good person.
I like to think so. You know what I'm saying? But like,
people, that's why they're not
it'll be at dispensaries, gas stations, just random places, and people, give me affirming compliments and telling me, "Hey man, keep going." And I've always received that type of love.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. You know what I mean?
I don't think I've ever heard anything bad about you.
Yeah, and I've been able to work with Portland gear. I've been able to work with the Blazers. So I'm like, man, this is a blessing to me. And I never even thought any of these people would even know who I am when I started this. So I'd say that's a positive on my end.
Oh, yeah.
But I say a negative is, I guess that goes hand to hand. And sometimes I don't want to be recognized.
Yes.
And, it's cool because it's like local. So it's like, cool and all, you know what I mean? Like my dad gets cool stuff too for being my dad. So it's like, but sometimes I'll be trying to like chill and I'm like, I was at the hospital. My girl got bit by a dog. So we're like sitting there in the hospital and then someone's like, hey, and I'm like, what's up, man? So, you know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, but I'm like, and she looks at me like, oh my God. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? So
they're like, we can get you in this room faster.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So shit like that.
But yeah, I definitely have had those moments where like even just like people know me in the hip hop scene here in Portland. Like that's
on the scene too.
That's about it, like on the scene and our show, whatever. At least in the hip hop music scene.
Yeah,
so I try to like go out to eat or something and say,
you get it.
And they're like drunk and they like won't stop talking. I'm like, obviously I don't want to be talking to you, but I appreciate you anyway.
Yeah, and you gotta think about it like I don't want to be that guy.
There's some moments where I'm like, I just want to like
you don't want to be the asshole and they're like, oh what? Like I was just like trying to I hate that shit though. I'm like, bro, I'm so like I might seem hella extroverted, but I'm really not.
Same.
Like, I'm good at socializing. I'm good at talking to people. I enjoy doing it. But a lot of times I'm like, So somebody I don't know is like on that, like, yo,
Facts.
I'm like,
And
You
also
just have to wear a beanie, a mask,
all of it.
trench
You know what I
coat.
mean?
Look at
You'll be
what
good.
And also, it's like, you don't know where I come from. So it's like, man, I got traumas and triggers. People looking at me weird, and I'm like, ain't no, like things like that, bro. I'm like, oh, my bad. You should have said something to me sooner, bro. I didn't want to look at you crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? You looking at me crazy. Like, you should have said something, bro. Things like
That's
that.
fair. That's a reason. I hate when people don't understand that too. It's like, bro, you just like came up behind me and grabbed my
Yeah,
shoulder,
like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, that guy you see on stage, they pay me to do that. Hey, man, come on now.
Yeah, that's real. So what do you got going on right now, project-wise?
Yeah, so right now I'm in the middle of talk about it. And right now I'm in the middle of 2 projects. One produced by Corey G. He's from LA. I got a few albums with Corey, and then another album produced by Yellow Trash Can and Snugsworth.
Oh, hell yeah. That's fire.
Yeah, and I think the Corey one is going to drop first. And then I think later this year we'll wrap up the one with YTC and Snugs. But right now I'm just in the creative process, trying to figure out what songs go where. Just shot a video yesterday, so I'm knocking out some visuals.
Okay.
Just, you know,
just keeping on.
Trying to keep on trucking along. You know what I'm saying? Keeping up with the kids.
Yeah.
With the content. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah, that's the whole new age.
That's the hardest part. Like creating and doing this is the fun part, but then like keeping up and you know trying to post
more
something
and more
every
and more.
day.
Fire emoji,
Yeah.
fire emoji.
Like
Yeah.
they like that. Give us more.
It's like, man, y'all don't want my real life on here. So I gotta
hate that shit, man. I just don't want to be bothered anymore. I'm almost
That's what I'm
30 years
saying,
old,
bro.
man.
I be
Like,
chilling with my dogs. I have 3 dogs, bro. I be chilling with them. Y'all want that?
But you got to do it. You know,
I
you have to do the
I gotta make this
in-person
shit seem lit.
networking and the
online
networking.
It's a movie.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I gotta make this shit look like a movie. Yeah. You gotta make it seem like I'm just smoking big dope every day with all the homies. Yeah, I'm going crazy.
Big moves,
bro.
People
What?
like that too, though. They're like, okay, a wholesome guy.
They like it, but they also like that I still got the same friends and shit. So it's like it's cool that I still have them in there.
For sure.
So shout out your socials too.
Oh yeah.
Follow me at Bocha the Grape. Free Palestine, free Gaza, free everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Got the
Not a
colors.
politically neutral podcast.
Did you notice he has the colors too?
You know what I mean?
They're the right colors.
You know what I'm saying? Free Haiti, free
These are better than we
Congo,
are.
free everybody. You know what I'm saying? Free the homies.
Free the homie.
Yeah.
You know, and most importantly, love yourself, you bitch ass nigga.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what he
we
said.
Fucking out, man. We on that
Guys, it's been on the scene with Chris Des.
I'm pretty motherfucking Leon, but you already knew that.
And our very special guest, Bocha the Grape. Keep an eye on this one. Thank you so much.
That was great.